I forgot. I hope that was not an awful sound.
This is what you want to talk about right now. Why?
Because you make me share everything, that's why.
Why are we doing this?
Dumbass.
Why are we doing what? Using my old...
Okay. So, I think there we go. I think that's everything now. Should be. Almost forgot. Need the chat box open. So, how are you guys doing today? As you can see by the title, as long as it did change, and it should have. I'm gonna check, but yeah. So it did not change. Hold on one second. There we go. Now we are ready. For whatever reason, the title did not change. And why is this app taking so long to load? So yeah, as you can see by the title, we are going to be playing World of Tanks. And we'll see what we're going to be able to do here. But, so just to start off, the main thing that I'm trying to go for today is I'm going to be trying to grind my Clan War tanks. So what I mean by that is there are certain tanks that are preferential for playing Clan Wars. And for me, I'm going to be focusing on, well, it's not just for me, but typically you're going to want to get your Batchat 25T. The other tank you're going to want to get could be a WZ-111 5A. That's a really good tank. You could get a 60 TP, although if you get a German tank, you know, a Maus or an E100, that can substitute for it as well. Then also what I want to get eventually, but I'm not focusing on it right now, is a Super Conqueror. That's a great vehicle for wars. And I want to get my 277, which is the main vehicle that I'm focusing on besides my Type 5 Heavy, which is the one I'm closest to. So it makes sense that I'd want to get that first. So I want to focus on the Type 5 Heavy, but also secondary is the 277. And then after that, I also want to get the 268 version 4, because we all know that is just a straight up overpowered tank, and it's great for Clan Wars because of it. Batchat is the first one. The Batchat is the first, I guess you could say, Clan War tank that I got. You can use the SCB-1 in Clan Wars, but really the Batchat is more versatile, and you know it's fast and it's got the great gun, so it works perfectly. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna start off by playing the Type 4 Heavy, because we've got a long ways to go. I mean, that's 123,000 experience that we have to get, and we have a special event going on right now. Well, Wargaming has a special event where if you complete a certain set of missions in a certain order, then, which there's 4 of them for each tank type, then you get 10,000 free experience for that specific tank that you just unlocked the 4th mission with. So basically, for heavy tanks, the first mission, they all have to do with blocking the amount of damage, the same amount of damage as you have hit points. So every game I'm trying to block at least 2,050 hit points worth of damage. So when this indicator right here says this number, that's when I've hit the damage blocked achievement, really. But on top of that, the first, second, and third, and fourth, respectively, you have to damage 1 enemy, damage 2 enemies, damage 3 enemies, and then kill an enemy. And that's on top of getting at least your hit points worth in damage blocked. So if you complete the first, second, third, you get like a consumable or whatever. Not really much, but it also lets you get the next mission. And then once you get to the 4th mission, if you complete that, then you get 10,000 experience. And that really helps with the tank grind that we're trying to do right now, because, I mean, 100,000 experience is no small task. to collect. Let's see if we can get this Type 44. Ah, the building. Not Type 44, T-49. There's the Bat Chat. That's great. Okay, so here's the thing. The Bat Chat 15558, the artillery, tier 10 on the enemy team, he's got an autoloader. I'm pretty certain that that tank comes with the top tier gun once you purchase it. So there's a problem with that, because there's about 10 seconds in between his shells that he can fire, and then waits 10 seconds to fire again, and I don't know how many shells are in the clip, but the point is that he can make your life really, really terrible. So what we want to do is we want to get over to this Zeppelin over here without getting shot in the side and managing to block the damage from the TP as well. Yep, see, that's just almost inevitable. Big roll shell from the E4. Gosh, brutal. We're gonna come around the corner and see if we can get the jump on this 53 TP, which we should be able to. Yep, there's the other artillery shell. And then the Leopard comes and finishes me off. Yeah, and there's plenty of games like that. But every now and then, you get some really good games. And I'm hoping that that's what we're going to be able to see a bit more of today. So let me show you. I guess I'm going to do this tank next. So I need to try to get the tracks. So I've got about, what, 2,000-ish experience left that I need to get. I could use my free experience, but I like to save my free experience. I used to have like 20 or 30,000. Well, actually, it was 30,000. I think it was like 35. But I spent it all on Bat Chat's Top Gun because that costs like 40-something thousand. And you really want to get to the Top Gun on that tank as fast as possible. I mean, it's a huge deal. So I did, and now I'm starting the grind again and trying to get that free XP back up to where it was in the first place. And that's really why you. So if I could make any recommendation, really, I would say save your free experience, because you're going to come across tanks where either you don't want to take the time to grind because they have really bad modules at stock modules. Or there's certain tanks that you just, it's like every now and then you're kind of like, I've been saving it up for a while. I now have like 30, 40, 50,000 free experience. I'm going to, kind of treat myself and spend it on a tank. And you really want to do it like that, because if you're constantly spending your free experience every chance you get, then it limits you. You're not able to get as much out of the free experience, because maybe there's certain modules that it would be better spent on. Like, for example, the Polish tech tree. A brutal tech tree. That's why I have not started on it yet. I see lots of people with 60 TPs when I'm playing in my tier 10s, but it's a really brutal line. When you're playing the tier 5s and 6s, and even I think the 7 as well, it's very, very difficult. And also, so like the 25 TP at tier 5 has like a gun similar to the Leopard, where it's kind of like more like a machine gun, and it's an auto loader, and it basically has terrible penetration, and it's just not very good at all. And so if you can find weakly armored tanks, which are very hard to come by in that tank, then you can kind of do okay. But if you ever end up in like a a matchup like this, where you're, you know, tier 5 going against tier 7s and 6s, you're basically just going to get destroyed. And that's really all there is to it. And that really stinks when that happens. Ah, RNG. Dipped low. Well, whoa, talk about a near miss. Was that the 304? Yeah, that must have been the FE 304. So, nice thing is that artillery does not have very good splash. It does not have a very good splash radius, which is why... Good, we nailed that. We nailed that guy. Okay, so we have a problem. We want to avoid the artillery. We also want to get this M4. Okay, so that's good. Gosh, we have an OI in front of us. That's going to be very bad. So, if you don't know, an OI is a Japanese heavy tank, tier 6, and it's very derpy, very annoying. Because even if it doesn't penetrate you, it's still able to do damage. Come on, M4. Gotta repair our gun. Dang artillery. Okay, he's just got both of his tracks. Okay. So, what you just saw there, in like this little area down there. I'm loading APCR. I'm tired of this. Oh, and he's on 1 hit point. Gosh. So he had a damage engine and a damaged gun. I have the crew perk, crew skill, called Eagle Eye. Which basically, oh my gosh, I was so close. Basically saw my flash before my eyes right there. Okay, we can breathe a lot easier now. So, but I have a crew skill that is called Eagle Eye. And basically what Eagle Eye does is it allows you to notice that certain modules are damaged or crew members are injured on a tank that you're looking at. So it'll tell you, oh, well, their gun's damaged, so they're going to be less accurate, so you can take a little bit more risks. Or their ammo rack's damaged, so now you have more time to get shots into them. Ugh. Wasn't really expecting that one to go in, but I was hoping. We can hope. There we go. Took him out. That's good. We got okay. Good. Nah, we're not gonna be able to get a shot through there. So, since I mentioned basically one of the worst tech trees that you could ever go up, which is the Polish tech tree, we're going to have to go to Cap. And we don't have any artillery. The AMX is the only one that can reset Cap, and he is dead. Gosh, that's very frustrating when they want to just cap out, but whatever. We're just gonna get some damage here. Okay. So definitely not an incredible game. We fell apart on the other side, and maybe it would have been best for me to have fallen back and protected the Cap, because I mean things like the Leopard and stuff, they're gonna have a hard time penetrating me, so I probably could have been able to save the game had I done that. Then again, hindsight is 20/20. So So yeah, basically, if you're new to the game, the last tank line you want to go up is the Polish line. Now, I already explained why. You know, once you get to about mid-tier, to the middle of the tech tree, it's just a terrible grind. Absolutely horrible. Now, to go with that, the tech tree that I would recommend that you go up is the tech tree that leads up to the M430, the Object 430U. It's a Russian tier 10 medium tank, and it's overpowered. Basically, if I were to ever recommend a tank to a new player, I would recommend overpowered tanks. Because by playing the overpowered tanks that are a little bit easier to play, you'll be able to actually learn how to play a medium tank, or a heavy tank, or a TD. And then when you play tanks that are maybe mediocre or even underpowered, you'll be able to be a lot more proficient in them. So, for one, Type 4, well, in this case, but the Type 5 Heavy is what you'd want to be aiming for. And that is, I'm going to actually want to go near cap, because that's where the action's going to be happening. They're going to try to cap out most of the time. So yeah, basically, the Type 5 is a perfect tank for someone who's just starting out, because really the whole tech tree, except for in the very beginning, like tier 3 and 4 is kind of rough. They're considered heavy tanks, but they're just garbage. Like, they're really bad. But the Type 4 is literally as simple as angle your armor like this most of the time, and point, shoot, and you just did damage. Great job. As this T-57 learned the hard way. Now, of course, there are things that make you more efficient. Like in this scenario, I would rather shoot at the Oho and get him out of the way. He has less hit points and weaker armor. And I'm going to tell my teammates. You also want to communicate with your teammates. Look at that. So, places that you would like to hit a Oho or a Type 4 Heavy, on the side, but like up there. If you hit down there, that's spaced armor and it's going to decrease the amount of damage you deal. If you hit right here, that's your best odds. As you can see, I rolled for 559, and if you were to aim at the front of the hull or of the turret on a Type 4, yeah, you're not going to be able to deal as much HE splash. So where you want to be aiming is right on that side skirt right here, because that's an area where there is no spaced armor. And there I hit the rock. That was just a straight up bad shot. So what I want to do now is give him my front. And he still did a lot of damage going on the front of my tank. Definitely a very brutal situation here. Okay, so now I'm going to try to stay away from the Type 4 Heavy. And that's the problem with these tanks. And they're going to be nerfing the premium rounds, but you basically just increase your DPM that much. You know, 300 rounds per shot. Let's see definitely want that tank. If we can get these lightly armored tanks, that would be best. Oh, it dipped down. That was not good. Not good at all. And now we're a one-shot for Type 5, for the Type 4. Basically, no matter what we do. At least we got the shot in. Yeah. And really, what I probably should have just done is focus the Type 4 the entire time. That would have been my best shot, really. But we're very likely going to win. We'll have to see, but we are 9-7 right now, so that's some good odds for us. So that's basically how you want to be playing the Type 4. And in situations where there isn't another Type 4 on the enemy team, you can do really well. Like, yeah, it's pretty disgusting, actually. But if you're wanting to learn how to play a heavy tank, I'd recommend playing the Type 5 Heavy. That'll teach you kind of the basics. And then if you want to learn how to play a medium tank, play the Object 430U, which kind of starts down some actually really good tanks, you know. You play the T60 and you keep going up and you get to play the T34 and then the T43, T44, and then you branch off to the Object 430 and then the Object 430U. This tank is overpowered. It's just the amount of armor that it has for its speed is ridiculous. And of course, you can't just go and go. You have to angle your armor. All tanks have a certain way that you need to position your tank when you're engaging another tank. So for this tank, you want it to be kind of like this. If you just go head on, then there's going to be places they can pen you. And, you know, mainly right here. These are the weakest spots on your tank for the Type 5 and the Type 4. Now, so you do want to still angle your armor, but you're going to be you're going to have a much easier time. And if you do angle your armor when you're in the Object 430U, there's lots of tanks that can't pen you, no matter what. They aim everywhere on your tank, and they just can't pen you. And it's really frustrating. And definitely when you're on the receiving end of that. So I would recommend going into Object 430U. And also, if you want to get a really good feel for what a tank destroyer is like, well, how to play tank destroyers, I should say, I would go for the Object 268 version 4. It's the TD, one of the TD lines at least, for the Russian tech trees, for the Russian nation, I guess. Yeah, but you know what I mean. So if you can go up that line, again, it's an overpowered tank, but that's one of the best ways that you can learn how to play a tank destroyer is by playing an overpowered tank destroyer. So it's got ridiculous armor. It's got basically one weak spot, which is basically a cupola right here, and it's pretty small. Really, it's fairly small. So the tank, it's ridiculous, and only you might be able to get penned in the lower plate if people load premium rounds. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty hard to take down. It's also very fast. Again, fast for the amount of armor that it has. So, whereas like if you have like an Object 268 or a Jagdpanzer E100, thank you, Artie, then you're going to have really good hull armor, but kind of a weak lower glacis, and you're also going to, well, not kind of, it is a weaker lower glacis, and you're also going to have a slower tank, which is not the case for the 268. You can stroll all around, and it looks like the 277 must be without backup. So I'm actually going to come up in this location right here. That's the only reason why the 277 would be running away. Otherwise, he'd be well, I guess there's a Death Star. Our FE-215B-183, otherwise known as the Death Star, is one insane tank. You don't want to get hit by that thing. most of the time. The only time you ever have a chance is if he loads AP, but still, he's got 300 and some odd millimeters of penetration on his AP rounds. So definitely not a good idea to go against that tank one-on-one. Unless he, you know, if he fire, the best thing for any tank that has a really long reload, if they fire, okay, ELC will deal with you. He's gonna try to take out the artillery, or just spot them. Yeah, there's no way we're gonna nail him. So yeah. So if you're going to play if you want to try to, if you like, first off, it's good to find out what you're comfortable with. Do you like to play more of that up close and personal? Because you're probably going to want a very strong, heavily armored TD, or a. He went behind the rock. It's a good thing I didn't fire. Ah, oh, just a little early. Look at that. That splash damage. Had I nailed him head on? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I'll take you on. You want to go, bro? You want to go? I got HE. You got min armor. Yeah, he knows. He knows what's up. He knows he doesn't want a piece of this. Because if he takes a piece of this, he's going to lose about a piece of everything. So, if you're going to, we're gonna win, but gosh. Okay, now I'm trying to focus on what I'm trying to say. So, you gotta first off, the first step you want to do is figure out what you are comfortable with. So, if you want that fast tank that can really, that has good view range, typically speaking, and you want to kind of play more of a passive spotting or even an active spotting role, then you're going to want to play light tanks, and you're going to have to try to find some overpowered light tanks, which really, if you want an overpowered light tank, look no further than the T100 LT. Many people say that it's an overpowered tank, because it kind of is. It's very low profile, so it's got a great camouflage rating. It's super fast. It's got a decent gun. It's very inaccurate, and also, all light tanks, their shells dip off after, you know, the farther away you are from your target, the penetration just dips off like an insane amount. So, but that's the case for all light tanks. That's not like it's an exception for the T100 LT. So I don't know if that would necessarily make it a balancing feature for that tank specifically. But so far, our blocking damage has not been working. We've been trying to block damage, and just hasn't been happening. Okay. I wonder if that's the same person. You don't come across Chinese light tanks very often, so I wonder if that's the same person. So yeah, overpowered light tank, 200 LT. Great tank to start off with if you want to learn how to play a light tank. Of course, you're going to have to work your way up through the lines for all these, but still, once you get to the tier 10, you're going to get lots of great practice. And yeah, it's good. I recommend doing that. And then if you want to learn how to play medium tank, Object 430U. If you want to learn how to play good TD, Object 268 version 4. Notice all these are Russian most of the time, and then there's the Japanese, which is like the one exception. Artillery, I'm not really sure about. I don't really know much about the artillery, so you kind of just you're gonna have to try all the different lines really if you want to find out what the best one is, because I have not had much experience with artillery. The only artillery that I've played so far has been the British line, which I can strongly recommend that you not go up the British line. you don't even get the stun effect, and the gun is massively underpowered until you get to like tier 7, tier 8. You know, you get the stun at tier 7, but your gun is underpowered until like tier 8. So definitely would not recommend getting that tank, going up the British artillery line. And that's really it. I think that's tank destroyer, light, medium tank. So if you want to, yeah, just go up the Russian lines. You'll find a lot of great tanks. Even like the Russian heavies are really good too. Like the 277, that's a really good tank, but it does have a little bit more of a higher skill cap, we'll say, than the Type 5 heavy. Although that's not that hard. So. And see, that's the thing. So for me, I started doing all this, working up the Japanese heavy line without ever knowing how overpowered it was. Look at that. That was the front of a 60 TP turret, and we did 200 hit points. That's not much. It doesn't seem like, but for the front of a turret, nothing else would have penned that at that point. So the fact that that did damage, yeah, nothing more needs to be said. And we're gonna have to really do good on this, because look at that, 500. Oh my gosh, this dumb Conqueror. That is so annoying. We got completely flanked there. And the 60 TP has a great gun. It's literally like the E100's gun. So, yeah. That's the thing. It's like, with as overpowered as these tanks are, it's kind of like, it's a catch-22, because they're really good tanks, so then people are going to focus you down, because they know that you're a dangerous tank. I mean, we didn't even penetrate. We hit the front of the 60 TP's hole, and we did that much damage. I mean, that's insane. So definitely, very brutal tank. I'm going to show you this tank right here. So this is the tank that leads up to the 268 version 4. And really, that's the case. If a tank is overpowered, it's going to be, most of the time, good for clan wars. And I'm doing a lot of clan wars right now, so that's something that I'm very interested in. So I decided to go up the 268 version 4 line. And that's what this tank is. And actually, I was surprised to find that this tank is actually really good. A lot of low-tier tanks are kind of like, nyeh. You know, there's a few of them that are overpowered. This tank is incredible. I love it. So you start off with a tier, I can't remember what tier gun it is, but it was a gun that does a 75 alpha, and you fire every like 2.1 seconds. So you literally would just go and dead. You just killed a tier 3 or tier 2 tank, and it was incredible. So now, whoops. So now it's changed. I upgraded the gun, and I forgot to load the APCR. Goodness, this is gonna be tough. We're in a tier 4 match. That's the second time. So, it's got 110 alpha, and it takes about 80% longer to fire. I think it has a better DPM than other tanks. Well, where we're going to want to go is right up here, and then we'll be able to get shots off on down on the tanks that are coming up right here, or the stupid ones that want to come over here, and then also might get shots into here. So now we're going to want to hide. Okay, there's no artillery, so that's good. Like I said, stupid tank that wants to... Look at that. Let's see if we can get this shot in. But the armor is definitely not impressive. And see, the problem that you saw right here was, so with my armor like this, it's okay. With my armor like this, they're shooting down and it reduces the nominal thickness of my armor. Well, no, it reduces the relative armor thickness. And basically, instead of, because if you have a sheet of armor that's 25 millimeters thick, and it's like this, it's not going to stop very much. But if you angle it, that makes it as if the armor is like 30 or 40 millimeters thick, depending on how angled it is. And if it's angled enough, then it'll just auto ricochet some shells. So yeah, so that wasn't really the best position to be in, I guess. And it's tough to find the right position. So yeah, but if I were to, let's see, but it's also important to note that the tank lines that I mentioned are not the only tank lines that would be good for you to go up. I mean, there's other tank lines that you can go up, and they're just not overpowered. And really, yeah, I've already explained what my opinion is on that, but there are a lot of great tanks, and I feel like once you get the hang of the feel for how a TD plays, how a medium tank plays, how a heavy tank plays, etc., then you're really going to be able to enjoy the other tanks that are really good, you know, just not overpowered. Or they're really fun to play, I should say, because they're not overpowered. So, yeah. And let's see, so what are we going to do for this one? So this is a really tough situation. We're low tier in a tier 6 tank. Well, usually, if I was a high tier heavy tank, I would make my way up here, and I would defend this location right here. Problem is I don't know where that VK is spawning, and I don't want to be going against the VK. We do have a defender, though. So, we're going to just take some shots into this Panther. Hopefully, we hit some. Or we'll take the M4. Yummy damage. Let's bounce one round. We have to try to evade artillery too, because they're going to be looking at us. Might have actually been this AMX that spotted us. That is one annoying. Actually, no, it's 57 I'm thinking of, but. So, here's really the tea about this map. It's so difficult for you to win when you're attacking, because literally everyone just hunkers down, and you have to actually go in with their guns ablazing, and it's just really not fair. And then, so the defending team has it much easier than does the attacking team. So my tank is just barely covered. And that leads to basically, unless the tanks on the defending team are very noobish, then we're not going to really have much of a shot at this. Because what happens is we have to take the base or kill all the enemy vehicles by the time that the time runs out. And also, there's less time in the match. So we only have 10 minutes as opposed to 15 minutes in like a standard battle. So that means it's extra hard. It's meant to be a more of like a fast-paced battle, but really it's just more of an annoying battle in some cases. Especially on Corellia, which is what the name of this map is. Corellia's assault is broken. Like, it's really bad. There's really not much else to say about it than that. The tough thing is trying to win. Especially now that we're going to have to try and go against a really strong tier 8 tank. And Artie is not very accurate. Otherwise, they would be able to help us. So there you go. We spotted him. Artillery, do your thing. It's nice that the Panther took off. Just trying to spot him for artillery. Because that's really the only way we're going to take this guy down. But artillery is just gosh, does not know how to aim. Yep. We were never going to be able to do much against him. Oh, finally. Wow. Now artillery is... Gosh. That's the crazy thing. Like, they could have nailed him when they were over here. They could have nailed the VK and got him long dead. The Panther took off, so the next thing I'm by myself. And I don't have the speed to run away. So, that's great. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. We're not going to end up winning that. We still have the VAK to take out, and there's artillery that's defending. Yeah, that's brutal. That's just not going to go anywhere. So we only need 3,000 experience here. Another thing. Don't ever research radios. Ever. It's really a bad idea. Like, all it does is increase your signal range, which helps you to communicate allied positions to your other allies. That's literally all it is. It's really ridiculous. So they're already out of your render distance, so you can't even like shoot at any enemies or anything like that. It is helpful to know where your allies are sometimes, but really, you just have to suffer through it at the low tiers, because 4,000 experience is a lot, and sometimes there's, you know, really outrageously priced radios that you can get, and it's like, why? It doesn't make sense to do that. So if you want to save yourself time, money, and experience to spend on other things, don't research your radios. Third time that I don't have any premium rounds and I've got put into a low tier battle in a row. It's okay. Man, I need to remember to do that when I get back. Let's see what we can do. And there's our big brother right there, the SU-85B. We are the SU-76M. You can see the resemblance. What? What? Oh my word. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to see a loss on your hands. Now, how bad of a loss? I'm not quite sure. We are going to need a miracle if we're going to need this, if we're going to win this. So good thing our Valentine and our MTLS has not cowered in fear like the rest of our team has, and they are basically lemming training down the mid. No words. No words. So So once they pull up over the hill, I'm not going to be able to penetrate the front of this guy. Okay, right there. Ooh yeah, our target.
Пробитие не подтверждаю. Подтверждаю
Look at that.
пробитие. Цель подтверждаю. С этим покончено.
So because we pulled back behind the bushes to where they were opaque, right now I'm protected and no one can spot me. Well, once I go and spot it. Now, if I shoot, I will get spotted. So what you want to do is you want to go into the bush to spot people, and then you still have the camouflage to where they can't see you, and then you want to pull out of the bush and or you can just help your the enemies on the other flank, because not the enemies, but you know what I mean. Gosh.
Машина уничтожена.
Again, our armor was downward like that, so you can see right there, that was not going to be able to prevent them. And sometimes it prevented them because they were shooting, probably they shot either the lower plate, in which was now made stronger, or they shot the side or something like that, or maybe up here. But yeah. Once you see your team lemming rush like that, you gotta go into the mode of, wow, I need to carry. Oh, I finished one of those mission things. Okay, cool. Let's go back in the Type 4. I think we need some more derp. More derp in our lives. Let's see. So they've got a few tank destroyers. We're gonna have to watch out for that, especially the E3. Sturzwagen can get us, but we're gonna have a better chance against the Sturzwagen than we will against the E3. The E3's got some massive pen. And he's got good alpha too, with like I think it's a 750 on average. So when you're in a derp tank like this, any of them, the Death Star, the Crap Barn, the the Type 5 Heavy, a T-49, anything like that, you want to look for targets that you know are very vulnerable to your HE. Now, when I say that, I mean Batchat 12T. You point, you shoot. Now, if you hit him, you're likely going to penetrate him. It's probably like an 80 or 90% guarantee. Now, you could hit his tracks and then you won't penetrate him. But if you hit the actual part of his tank, you're going to penetrate him. Because you have 75 millimeters of pen, and Batchats don't have very much armor. If you get any light tank or medium tank, for the most part, like the 430U might be an exception, but get any medium or light tank from on the side or on the rear of their hull, and you're going to penetrate, and you're going to see massive damage. Then usually heavy tanks, the rears of heavy tanks are strong enough to where you can't penetrate them, but you're still going to do more damage because they're weaker. They have weaker armor there. So we have an IS-7 here. We're going to want to focus that IS-7. There's no artillery. That's the first thing that we also should mention, notice as well, is that there's no artillery. Oh gosh, that's not good. Ah, just at the last second it dipped into the dirt. we're bouncing shells left and right. Look at that. So yeah, now that we are almost reloaded, if that WZ were to stick around, well, we'd be able to put a really good helping of HE into his digestion, into his diet. There we go. That's very good. That is a very good kill. We needed to kill that guy as soon as possible. Like I said earlier, he's an overpowered tank. The Scent is not going to be able to pen me more than likely. And yep, he's going for my traps because he can't pen anything else because I've angled my armor basically perfectly. But I can't do anything about the light tank that's there. Look at that. It's amazing. It's beautiful. Okay, guys. Any day now. Did you kill that Scent? Or am I gonna have to? So I want the Scent to fire. There we go. Now we're kind of safer. Oh, E3. Yeah, that was not good. Definitely didn't need that. Yeah. Remember what I was saying about the E3? Yeah. That was not good. Not good at all. And we're going to definitely lose this because it's 8-3. More than likely. More than likely we're going to lose it. Oh well. Can't win every one of them, I guess. Okay. Also, just in case you didn't know, little tidbit. If you would like to get in on the Crazy Chase to get a wheeled vehicle when 1.4 comes out, start driving the AMX ELC BIS. It's Tier 5 French light tank. It's the tank that's going to lead on to the Tier 6 wheeled vehicle, which will probably be somewhere around here or whatever. So you're going to want to get about 17,000 experience, more than likely, maybe a little bit more. We'll have to see. So I am currently trying to work it up and not have to free XP my, the crud out of getting that wheeled vehicle, because I would definitely be very interested in getting a wheeled vehicle. Yeah, so if you're interested in doing that, turn off accelerated crew training if you have this tank already, and also if you don't have it, get it, because there's going to be some really cool tanks leading up from this line. Okay, yeah, so we need to have a good game in this one, especially since I think that I'm going to have to go soon here. I think this will have to be my last game, so we're going to have a good game in the SU. That's what we're going to do. So, do you have any questions? I do see that we have one viewer. 2 viewers, actually. Do you guys have any questions before I, feel free to ask, because this is going to be the last round. Clan Wars will be calling after this. And, so yeah. So you've got about 15 minutes to think of something. And, well, more like 10 minutes to think of a question, or maybe there's... I don't know, like maybe you're looking for a specific tank that you'd like to train, or anything really, just any question. Try me. So, and I'll see what I can do. Okay. Oh my word. Ugh, that's the 4th stinking time in a row. Bottom tier, and I forgot my APCR. And I have a ridiculous amount of HE. Oh my word. This is not going to be good. And if it does turn out... Well, okay, it's not the worst day. Well, it's not the worst thing that could have possibly happened. Because, like he does say, there's no arties. That's good. And there's no heavy tanks. Problem is that Matilda's like a heavy tank. It is got some really stinking great armor. Everything else not really going to be a concern. I can pen the Lee. I can pen the M8. I can pen the A20, the Covenanter. None of those are going to be issues. Everything else, all the tier 3s, I can pen them. The Matilda is going to be a pain in the rear. So the nice thing too is that I have 6th Sense because I have female crew members in here, so they basically are already pre-trained and everything, and I was able to get 6th Sense very easily, which is extremely nice. Because otherwise you have to grind your experience and they're behind a building. Let's see if they'll pop out. Ooh. Ah, I thought he was gonna go straight. Yep, and the Matilda went city. Come on, Stuart. Little. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Gracias. Grazie. Boom. Yeah, we need to take out that Panzer 1C. He's a very overpowered tank. And everybody knows it. Dude, don't push me out of the way. Yep, the Matilda took him out because he got spotted because he didn't know how to play. Funny because they are all saying that it's going to be a win. No arty, no heavies, it's a win. Nah, it's not that simple, buddy. Not that simple. Who was it that said that, by the way? The Lukes. And the Lukes is dead. That's just so hilarious. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come out to play. Come out, come out, come out. Hello, M3 Lee. I want to tell you something. He must have a really bad crew because he still can't spot me. But it's almost like he thinks, like, I almost wonder. Oh, yeah. Well, now he knows I'm looking at him. Let's see, can we blind fire him? No. Dang. So we got another problem. Oh, good. Good. Good, 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 good. Good, 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 good. Good, good, good. Very, very, very good. Speak of the devil. Yeah, he's just gonna be able to pen me no matter what. And he has HE, so he's gonna kill me no matter what as well. Come on, team! I believe. Nah, I don't believe in them. Nope, they are going to lose this. Well, Clan Wars calls. Let me see. Does anyone have any questions? No. Quiet day today, huh? Okay, well, I am going to end it there then. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next Wednesday.